Welcome back to the Sapphic podcast. I am your host, Nisa, and with me, as always, is... Wait, you are not Ellie. Who the fuck are you? So, for those of you who are not watching, I am joined with Christina, who is clearly not Ellie and not British. So, Christina, how do I know you? Who are you?
Hey, we're in a book club together. I'm Christina. I'm here in the U.S., in North Carolina. And thanks for inviting me.
Okay, yeah. So, as you said, we are in a book club together. If anybody's looking for a book club, shameless plug for our Discord. We SBCC, Sapphic Book Club Chat. Yeah, but it's really SBC. We just call the chat, and so everybody says SBCC, but really it's just SBC. That was the worst plug for our Discord I could have ever had.
I don't think so. I think it was perfect.
I don't know. But to kind of give an update for everybody, Ellie is having to take a short hiatus, and so I cannot carry this show on my own. So my friends from SBCC are going to be helping me. So we're going to do a little bit of different things, and we'll see how it goes. So hopefully you guys stick around. Christina is semi-new to Sapphic Books. Yeah. So we are doing something today where I am going to try and introduce her to a few Sapphic books through fictional Reddit posts. I have taken the plot lines from several Sapphic books. I am going to throw them at Christina. We're going to blind react. And one of these stories will be a real Reddit story. And she's going to have to suss out which one was the real one. You ready for it?
Let's go.
Okay. So, first up, would I be the asshole if I broke up with my current hookup to date her best friend? Here we go. You're like, I don't even have to hear the story. Yes, you are a big asshole. Okay. Background info, because I know this sounds really bad. About 3 months ago, I, late 20s female, went to my cousin Alana's company party and ended up hooking up with a girl, Chloe. The sex was great, and I thought she and I had a connection. But when I woke up the next morning, she was gone. I am familiar with one-night stands. In fact, usually I'm the one who's absent in the morning, but this time felt different. I contacted Alana to ask for Chloe's number or full name, but Alana told me she didn't have a Chloe who worked with her. Fast forward to now. I recently met a girl named Ronnie after I moved, who I've been casually hooking up with. It's been made 100% clear that we are casual and not in a relationship. She invited me for a 2-week trip with her friends, and I decided to go since it sounded fun. We showed up, and then there is Chloe, but her real name is Lane, and she's my casual hookup's best friend. The connection is still there, and I want to explore that. Would I be the asshole if I talked to my hookup and started dating her best friend?
Yeah.
Still the asshole.
I mean, it's messy. The whole thing's messy. What do you think is going to happen when you start dating this person? When you just, started this casual thing? I don't know. I just feel like you probably need to go to therapy, and you probably need to work on some stuff beforehand. Before jumping into that. Maybe end things. Be friends with all of them before. I don't know. Literally anything else.
But it's been made 100% clear they're just casual hookups. Like, you're not tied to this girl Ronnie at all in any way. I mean, if her and Lane have a connection, I mean, I feel like Ronnie should be understanding of that.
Yeah, I guess I'm going in with the expectation that something bad will happen.
What bad could happen from this?
Yeah, I want to know what bad could happen from this. This sounds like a book.
You think this is a book?
Yeah. I want to know what could happen. Because, I mean, you're right. It is casual, and it was set up that way. So there should be no animosity.
I want to know what Lane, I think that's the friend's name, Chloe Lane, whatever her real name is. I want to know what her thoughts are, because, have you ever hooked up with, one of your friends' hookups? I feel like that could get messy, but in lesbian circles, I mean...
It's tight-knit. It's tight-knit. Yeah.
It's kind of the stereotype that everybody dates everybody's exes. So, I mean, is it really off limits, though?
Yeah, I think it needs to be a conversation with everybody involved. What does everybody really think about it? Be open about it. Is this going to be weird in the future? setting that up and having that conversation.
That's so mature. You and I both know that people in their 20s aren't that mature. No offense to anybody in their 20s currently.
No, you're figuring it out. It's okay. That changes everything. No, it doesn't. I still think you should talk about it. This is a great stepping stone to communication.
Communication is overrated. Come on. We're on Reddit, damn it.
We need to get messy.
Exactly. Okay, so your opinion is you think this is a book. You don't think this is the secret real story. Damn.
Am I wrong?
Okay.
Am I right?
You are correct. Yes.
What book?
That would be Magnetic by Robin Alexander, who predominantly
add to the TBR.
She predominantly writes rom-coms, and so, you know, I've talked about her on the show before. She has this really great way of bringing out the comedy in messy situations.
I love that. I want to know what happens. Okay, so can you spoil it for me?
I'm not going to spoil it too much. I'm just going to say, whereas you had thought communication would be the best way to solve this in the mature way, they do not communicate.
Of course.
That's why I said, like, as far as drama goes, the only way to solve this is communication. You even recommended, hey, maybe break up with your current hookup, give it a few months, become friends with everybody, and then pursue Lane. Yeah, that's not the way a book is gonna throw that down.
A book, you know? I want to see some real examples of how to be good at communication. That's amazing. Well, thanks for letting me know. I'm gonna read it. I think it'll be fun.
Okay. This next one is a long one.
Yes.
So, be prepared for the ride. Am I the asshole for not telling the nurse at my niece's school about my profession? I know, I'm gonna need a chart for how these people all connect. OP has a niece at a school, and this is about not sharing her profession with the school's nurse. I, 29 female, was supposed to pick up my niece, Sophie, 7 female, from elementary school and spend a day with her. It was all mentioned before to the school, and I've picked her up a few times before. Sophie was running towards me, but unfortunately, she tripped and fell down. Her knees was bruised, and she started acting, a little bit upset and crying like crazy. I took her to the nurse's office immediately. The nurse was in her early 20s and helped Sophie with cleaning her wound and dressing it. I tell my niece a lot about my line of work, so she asked if she was going to need stitches. If so, how many and what kind? The nurse was impressed with her knowledge. She showed Sophie a few items of equipment she had asked about, and then asked Sophie if she wanted to be a nurse. Sophie said no, she wanted to be a doctor like her aunt, aka me. The nurse got a bit upset and asked me why I didn't say anything about this. I honestly was confused. I was like, why would I even need to mention that? I threw in a compliment saying she was good at her job and I enjoyed witnessing a professional at work. She said I was being too generous with my comments. I told her I was being honest and thanked her for taking care of Sophie's knee. Right when Sophie and I were leaving, she said she'd never be able to guess my line of work correctly because I look better than most of my colleagues. I thanked her and said I appreciated her help. She said I still owed her for not telling her my job, and it felt like I was testing her or deliberately trying to see how she was doing. I apologized and said that wasn't what I was meaning to do, and I knew she was more than capable of doing her job well. She said maybe I could find a way to make it up to her properly. And I was like, sure, but Sophie and I need to go now. I don't know if I was being rude, but this had me thinking, should I have just told her about my job? Thoughts?
Oh, someone's so oblivious.
I know. It hurts to read this one because I'm like, yep, I wouldn't have noticed. That's entirely flirting, am I right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. And also, like, it's a little weird. It's super weird. And, like, you're trying to respect this person who's on the job right now, getting paid. So, like, you're not going to be a freak about being a doctor. Like, yeah, this is my niece, and she's skinned her knee, but also I'm a doctor, so, like...
How do you even casually bring that up, like, in a conversation? Like, are you just gonna stand there and observe and be like, oh, yeah, that's really good how you work that Band-Aid. That didn't come out right.
That's flirting 101 right there. Perfect.
Right. And it's one of those where I wonder, like, my obliviousness to flirting is legendary, but the thing is like, when somebody's flirting with you, when they're on the job, I know, at least with, like, waitresses or bartenders and stuff, it's hard to tell when flirting is real flirting versus when they're just being nice because it's part of the job.
I mean, full disclosure, I worked at Trader Joe's for years, and Trader Joe's has the stereotype of, oh, all the cashiers are flirting with everyone all the time. And yeah, some of them are, but it literally is just, we're all in a good mood and being nice. Like, I never actively flirted with anyone. So, like...
Did you ever have somebody who, like, mistook your friendliness for flirting and, like, tried to shoot their shot?
Yeah. I had really long hair at the time, and it was covering my name tag, and he reached over the cashier and moved my hair, and I immediately called the manager, and I was like, you do not touch people like that. And I, like, lost.
Oh my god. I feel like that... How can... Everybody should know you don't touch other people, especially when they're working and they haven't asked for it. Like
some of the men that I worked with too, they had harassment happen to them too, from like older women touching them too, and like that happened multiple times, and like it was Wild West in there. It's also tiny, so
okay, that's just insane to me, because like if you're at a restaurant where like tips are the standard, like, you know that the flirting might just be to get tips. How do people misinterpret friendliness, though? Like, I'm just gonna casually touch your chest as I brush your hair to the side.
Like, moments of rage, for sure. Honestly, I think that people are just lonely. Or, I don't know.
People don't know how to people sometimes.
They really don't. And, like, in this situation with this story, complete opposite, like, obliviousness. Which is, you know, I'm glad.
It's almost wholesome to see just her being like, I didn't think I was being rude. Like, am I the asshole for this? What happened? Clearly not the asshole, but oblivious lesbian.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. I'm leaning more towards this being a real story and not so much a book. But I'm like 70, 60? Oh my god. Cut this.
Oh my god. Okay, so
70-40. Had to think about it.
70-30?
Yes, that's it.
Hey, math is hard. Okay, so you're pretty sure this is the real... Damn it! You're really good at this game. It is the real one. And guess what? We have an update.
Yes! They're married. Okay. No, I don't know. Let's see.
What do you think happened? What do you think?
I think that...
Do you think Reddit knew that there was flirting happening?
Yes. No. Oh, I hope so. They usually do, but someone on those comments section did, for sure.
They had to have.
Yeah. What if, this would be really funny, what if the nurse, like, wrote a note for the kid to take home to their parents? Like, hey, I'm so sorry for being weird to your sister.
Could you imagine if that happened and you were the kid? Because she's 7, so she's going to be, like, opening this note, and the nurse is like, here's my digits, hit me up.
Yeah. That's my unhinged opinion.
That's your unhinged. Okay. So here comes the update. First of all, thanks for all your lovely comments on my original post. I appreciate every single one, and I would like to thank everyone who took the time for their input. As you could see in the original post, I was absolutely clueless during the whole interaction and missed the flirting part altogether. So I took your advice and asked my sister to let me babysit Sophia again and pick her up from school. Around 10 minutes before school was over, I went to the nurse's office with a bouquet of flowers and thanked the nurse for taking care of my niece's knee and asked her if I had the opportunity to make up for my rudeness from the last visit. Thankfully, she agreed. We went on a date last night. It even included a late night walk by the beach and dinner. By the end of the night, I showed her the post, and I think it is safe to say she was amused, as every single one of the commenters, and she could barely stop teasing me about it.
That's so good.
Thank God. Thank God that the commenters noticed. Could you imagine that misconnection? She'd be like 20 years down the line, like, she was flirting with me.
That's all the time, though. I know it. It's sad.
Have you ever had one of those where you completely missed the flirting and it's like years later and you're telling the story and you're like, shit, she was flirting with me?
I feel like there were a lot of those instances when I was in college and I drank a lot and at the bar and like I was a very aggressive drunk. I would be unhinged. But yeah, I hung out with a lot of drunk women in my life and I feel like there's definitely some misconnections there for sure.
I know in college there was this one girl, so in the student center, student union, whatever the fuck you want to call it, they had like a food court for all of us, and so every day I would go in and order my soup from this one place, and every day this girl was there, and I completely missed it. I thought she was just being friendly. She would give me like extra bread with it and be like, oh, you're having a... One day I told her, like, she asked me how I was and I was like, it's been a shitty day. I just got, a test back and it went really poorly. And she goes, here, let me help you, like, make your day better. And she threw me like a cookie for free. And I was like, oh, thanks, you're so nice. And I left and my friends were like, you do realize she's like super flirting with you, right? I was like, what are you talking about? She's like that all the time. She just gives me extra bread for free. If I'm having a bad day, she throws me an extra cookie. We just chat a little bit and they're like, you missing this?
Like, that's even more of a reason for, like every day.
Every time I tell this story, people are like, yeah, she was definitely flirting with you.
I agree with you. Like, I wouldn't have shot my shot when someone was at work like that. It's just,
exactly.
It's just kind of weird. I've always thought that was weird. Like, if I saw them out and about too, I don't know. Like, what do you... I don't want to be a freak.
I mean, I hate that though in the service industry. Like when you're doing your job. Don't make people feel uncomfortable. Also, I was afraid to shoot my shot because if I did, then I could never go to lunch at my favorite restaurant in the student union. Exactly. I'm like, I can't risk the soup, okay? I'm upset that you found the real one.
I'm sorry.
Now you're gonna know, unless I sneak another real one in here, that they're all books. Or maybe I did sneak one in. Hard to say. Okay, this one hails from relationship advice. I, 20 female, and my friend Kim, 21 female, have been friends since we were in grade school. We're out to each other, but have never dated. Sometimes I catch Kim looking at me, or she'll make comments about how she loves me, but then backtracks to make it seem like it's just in the friendship type of way. I've tried to make it clear that I don't have those feelings for her, but she doesn't seem to get the hint. Recently I met a woman, and I have strong feelings for her. But Kim is extremely rude to her and even complains about her to me. How should I handle this situation so that it doesn't explode?
I know how to handle this situation.
Okay, how do you do it?
Communication.
Motherfucker. You know what? I think you give them too much credit. 20 and 21.
Absolutely. I know what they're going to do.
You know what they're going to do. You're like, it's going to explode.
They're not going to say anything, and then they're going to get fed up, and then it's just going to be a terrible time. You're going to lose your friend.
But here's the thing. She has made it clear to Kim, she said, that she doesn't have feelings for her in that way. So how do you fully communicate to somebody who just won't hear no?
You cut ties at that point.
Damn. Even though they've been friends since grade school?
Yeah, because it's just causing pain to both of them, right? And you've already said no, and having to say no again and again, especially when you met someone that you really care about, and then that being rude to them, come on, it's not their fault. But yeah, if they're not going to listen to no, and they have strong feelings for you, cutting ties will be better for them in the long run, so they can get over you and live their life. And also, you're 20. What are you doing?
Yeah. You're 20 and you're letting this person hang around and hang on, even though you've said no. It's giving incel vibes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know that her friend just has to be waiting in the wings, hoping that one day she'll open her eyes and be like, oh, I do have feelings for you. I was lying.
It's so sad. It's so sad. And also, you gotta value your friends more, too. If you're feeling that way about a friend, it doesn't even matter what orientation, right? It's like, if you feel that way about a friend, you have to, like, weigh, do I bring this up to them? What will happen to our friendship if it's not reciprocated? There's a lot of variables, right? Like, so many things could happen. And for me, personally, like, I would prefer to continue to have a friendship with a person if I care about them to that extent.
Yeah, and I think it brings up an interesting point, because so much in our media, we see friends to lovers stories. So I kind of wonder if some of that can be, like, some of the blame can be put onto that. Because it does kind of glamorize, like, hey, your friend one day will look at you and feel that way about you. And so I think it sets up these really unhealthy situations where people are just waiting, thinking, hey, this is going to happen for me.
Yeah, definitely. And it does happen. I mean, there's plenty of people who have fallen in love from friendship, and it works out great for them. But I also think you need to, like, see the signs of another person reciprocating that feeling too before, like, jumping into what's the word, delusions.
Yeah. And I know it was the OP who asked, like, for advice on how to handle that situation. We think she should cut ties with the friends, but, like, if you're in Kim's situation where you have feelings for your friend, what advice would you give, like, to them if they're not getting it, or they think, hey, I should just hang around? Like, what do you think you would tell Kim?
To stop hanging around. Straight up.
Have some respect for yourself, girl. Yeah. Stand up.
Like, are you happy being that way and doing that? No. Go live your life. Take some steps back and look at it from an outside perspective.
Yeah. I feel like that's hard, though. Because,
yeah, for sure. It's your best friend.
Yeah, and so many of those feelings get tied up, like, with the friendship, and so I feel like it's hard to unravel what is actual friendship feelings and what is, like, this feeling of wanting more, and, like, trying to separate those two.
Yeah, and I think having other friends to bounce this off of, too, to be able to, like, give you perspective and to be able to communicate, like, how you're feeling, I think that's important. Like, if you're only relying on this one friend in your life, that's also a problem too, because there are so many people and you need to have different perspectives too.
Yeah. And I wonder if part of that also comes from, like, I don't know about you, but I have a hard time, like, meeting people in real life who are out and building, like, that Sapphic community. And so I wonder if some of that almost codependency comes from, like, not having other friends who are, like, Sapphic or who share your same, like, feelings.
Yes, it's very hard. I'm especially, like, in the South, because that's where I am. There's, like, pockets of queer communities, but it's also really hard to get out nowadays and be a part of events and things, so it is hard. And if, you know, this person, these people in their 20s, maybe they're in school, maybe they have some sort of community that they could join, right, like, from their school, it is really hard to make friends, so pushing yourself is also very hard. You have to do it, you know?
I don't know. I was awkward as shit in college. Like, I walked into, because we did have a LGBT community, and they had, like, it was a club. They had their own little center, and I know I walked into it so many times trying to, like, act casual, and then they'd be like, hi, can I help you? And I'd be like, I walked into the wrong room. I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Like, going to anything like that, I still have problems with. I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't. Especially by myself. What? Walking in? What? It's so hard. And I don't know. I was homeschooled, so, like, I missed out on that, like...
Oh my god, you were? Did I know this?
I've talked about it before, but I don't know if you knew. Yes.
I probably did. I have a really shitty memory.
It's okay. Yeah. It set me up for failure in so many ways. And that was a big one, too. Like, having the confidence to interact with peers. It takes a lot of time. And now I'm in my 30s, so it's like, really gotta get over it. No.
once you hit your 30s, there isn't that built-in structure like with school or even college where like there are places where they present it to you like, hey, let's go meet other like queer people. Now it's I actively have to search for like that key queer community, and it doesn't go well a lot of times.
You find each other on Discord, you know?
There you go.
Yeah.
Reddit for the win.
Thanks, Reddit.
Okay, book or real story?
As a book.
That was a book. You're sure of it?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're correct. That was The Library by the River by Debra Flores. I don't know. This one, I don't know if I would recommend. I didn't love the ending. It does have a lot of angst in it because, as you can clearly tell, the communication is happening from one side of it, and it's just incel vibes. If you want to be enraged, this is the book to read. It does,
maybe in like a few months.
It does take place in the 80s, too, which explains some of why they only have each other. Okay. So right at the height of like the gay panic, and I think they might have made mentions of AIDS as well, the AIDS epidemic, and so there is that big stigma around being a queer person.
That kind of changes a lot. No, I mean, like, the communication and the behavior, and, like, you still need to, if someone doesn't like you and you're following them around like a puppy, you still need to work on that, look at that. But I understand it from, like, a time frame perspective, like how the world was at that time, and how it looked at queer people. It makes sense. You would hold on.
Yeah, and that was the only thing I could say is, like, with not wanting to just drop your friend is if you're out to your friends and family, that's one thing, but being out in a community is a lot harder. And I know you had mentioned, especially in the South, I believe this book takes place in Texas as well. So, very, very large homophobic. I mean, the whole fucking state is almost homophobic. But especially in that time period, it would be hard, I think, to throw away a friendship who, you know, the friend is out. They do know that you're out. So, like, I think that codependency makes a lot more sense in that time period, in that place.
Yes, and not having, like, a support system to lift you up and make you feel like, confident in your decisions, too.
Exactly. And so I see the hesitance to get rid of that friendship, but I don't know. Still, like you said, the things that hold true are the communication, and if somebody's not interested, they're not interested.
And waiting around this is our life. We have one, you know?
Yeah. So to any of our listeners who are waiting around for your friend, maybe you think about that.
I think you should think about it.
To your point, there are times where, you know, it does happen, but I feel like you can't hang around and not live your life waiting for the what if.
No, you can't.
Okay, fine. Moving on.
Yes.
You ready for the next one? Okay. Am I the asshole for not telling my neighbor that I'm the person she matched with? Already, I can tell. I can already tell you have thoughts on this one. I recently got divorced after realizing I am a lesbian. The divorce has been a lot. I've moved and tried to cut ties with as many friends as I can, as most of them are friends that my ex-husband and I share. I wanted to put myself out there, so I have been on the dating apps, but am mostly just looking for friends or casual acquaintances. The other day, I matched with someone who seems to be open to just chatting with me as a friend. She's kind of funny, and I like talking with her. At the same time, I met my new neighbor, who is clearly a lesbian. She's been a great friend, and I enjoy her company. I get butterflies when I'm talking to her. Because of the subject that we were talking about the other day, I realized she's the woman that I had matched with. I haven't told her, but she seems to have figured out that I am the person that she matched with. Now she isn't talking to me and says that I'm an asshole for not telling her. So Reddit, am I the asshole?
What? Did they not have pictures on the app?
I am presuming that they do not have pictures, which in this day and age is really, really dangerous.
That's so weird. I feel conflicted about this.
Okay.
This is a tough one because did they say that they ended up not talking anymore? Is that what it was?
She said that her neighbor is not talking to her right now because she is saying that she's an asshole for not mentioning that they had matched.
Did they, like, on the app, though? Like, what happened on the app for them to stop talking?
I don't know.
It doesn't say?
Oh. It does not.
Okay. Well, I want to know about that.
You want to know about that? You're like, I need context. I
need more context. Like, why did you guys stop talking? And because if you stopped talking because you just weren't interested anymore, or it was just like kind of a dud conversation. That sounds mean.
A dud conversation. I mean, she said that the person on the app is kind of funny and I like talking to her. So they might not have stopped talking on the app. She just also met her neighbor.
Okay.
I mean, I think they probably stopped talking on the app now that the neighbor has stopped talking to her in real life. But
I guess I wouldn't have, if I knew, I probably would have told them, right? Like, oh my god, we were talking on the apps. That's so funny. But it also would be like, oh, you're my neighbor. Is that a boundary that you're willing to cross?
Yeah, I feel like especially so fresh out of a divorce and you just moved to this new place, like, if something goes wrong with your neighbor, if you did tell her and be like, hey, do you want to date? And then things went sideways, that would be really awkward because you're not moving again, for a while.
Yeah.
So you'd be seeing each other in the hall all the time, and I feel like that would be really weird.
Yeah. And from experience, I have used the apps to, like, meet more people and make friends, and that's not what people do on the apps. And, like, yeah, you'll have some good times with people, but there will be that expectation of more in the future. And that's a whole thing, too. That is a whole thing.
I mean, and that might, for me, I never had to use the apps. And so I really don't understand the etiquette behind, like, how you should be interacting on the apps.
Yeah, I mean, if I saw someone that I was talking to on the apps, I would know because there would be a picture. And I'm just the type of person who would be like, oh my god, hey. So, but then if you weren't, like, feeling it and it was your neighbor and then you're like, wait a minute, we don't know each other actually. You know?
Yeah.
So I can see that too.
I can understand how her neighbor is pissed off though.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because one of you is walking around in the, like, even friendship or relationship where you have the whole picture and know everything, and the other person is halfway in the dark. So that is kind of an asshole thing to do.
Yes, that part, definitely an asshole. Yeah. But the context, I don't know. I feel pretty neutral about the context.
I can see both of them being upset. I don't know. I almost say no assholes here because she made a mistake by not telling her, but at the same time, that is kind of shitty that she did that. Because, and to think of it, like, I feel like when you are talking to somebody through, like, an app or just online without actually physically knowing them, you get a lot more comfortable telling them things you might not tell them in person. And so, like, there might be things that the neighbor is telling this person through the internet things, and she wouldn't knowingly tell her neighbor.
Yeah, I know. So there's that, like,
as I talk through it more, I feel like soft you're the asshole. It's a hard one.
Don't date your neighbors on the apps. Just don't do that.
But how do you meet people if you're not meeting people?
I know, because, like, I can think of sitcoms where, like, people date their apartment neighbors. And, like, that's,
like, Friends?
Yeah, I guess. I never watched Friends, but I have, like, the general idea. Like, down the hall, oh no, there's that guy. Bye.
Yeah, but I feel like it's always played up as, like, it didn't go well, and then that's where either the comedy or the drama comes from, because now it's all tense.
And I live in an apartment, and I never see my neighbors, so... sometimes I see them in passing. I don't know. I think
you have to give me a determination.
Okay. I'm an asshole. Yeah,
excellent.
Because I think again, communication, because if you see this as your neighbor and you guys are talking on the apps and be like, hey, actually I'm not comfortable with dating a neighbor, or explain, like, why you didn't bring it up anyway, just so you could be cool, because this is your neighbor. And you pissed her off.
Yeah. And that's another thing too. Like, now you get all the drama without having dated because you lied to her. So you didn't really do yourself any favor.
No, truly did not.
At least if you had dated, you could say, hey, I had that short payoff, but now it's just you've lost your friend, your neighbor's pissed, and it's just done.
Yeah, I think you owe her an apology. If you're listening, you owe her an apology.
If you're listening. So are you saying you think it's real?
Yeah.
You think that one's the real one, too?
Yeah.
That one is a book.
Got one wrong.
Woohoo!
Wait,
Yes.
What book is it?
That one is Pitifully Ugly by Robin Alexander. So the context behind that is, for no picture, is I believe she uploaded a funny photo that didn't show her face, as like, that's her username, is Pitifully Ugly. Okay. She made it in a down moment where she was feeling really jaded about dating, and so her profile is just like, it's like if you imagine when you get really pissed off and just don't want to date anymore, and you're just like, fuck it, I'll just put this out there. And so she didn't give two shits about her profile and just put it out there, and that actually got a lot of interest from people.
It did. It's funny.
Yeah,
oh, that's great.
You're like, well, I'm also just fed up with dating, so let's let this ride. This one's another one, since again, Robin Alexander, the queen of Sapphic comedy. It has a lot of funny moments in it. It made me chuckle the whole way through.
See, I have not read much comedy. I'm always like, okay, I want to get sad. I'm gonna get sad and scared. That's what I like out of my books. I need to branch out.
If you want sad and scared, I mean, the library by the river will make you both sad and scared. So that one we had talked about earlier with the incel friend. Lesbian Actually, the Reddit for that. How do I ask a woman out? I own a fairly successful restaurant. For about a year, I've had 3 women come into the restaurant every week. One of them is super cute, and I think she's into women, but I am nervous to ask her out. She's always very nice to me, and I love chatting with her when she comes in, but we really don't have a ton of interaction. How do I ask her out? Very simple question. How do you ask a woman out?
Air brings out all of great features in her. She's really cool and tall. And
you don't know if she's tall. She could be very short.
She's a short queen. For this question, I'm the one who's like, oh, let me go hide.
I feel like that's a question that a lot of women have, is how do I ask a woman out? Because, like, to your point earlier, if she is flirty, can she even count on the woman to ask her out? Because she is working, she is the owner of this restaurant, and we just talked about it earlier that you really shouldn't be hitting on people whilst they're working. So I feel like the ball is in the restaurant owner's hands.
Yes, and so that is the whole thing, right? I think being honest and just being like, hey, I think you're awesome and we should go out sometime. I think that's really straightforward, and there's no like beating around the bush to it. But at the same time, what do you do when someone is at work? Like, what is the most appropriate way to express that when someone is at work? And maybe it is just that, and maybe it is saying that and then being like, I know you're at work right now though, and I'm so sorry. I don't know though. Yeah. Like,
that's a hard one, honestly, because I can say, well, you just chat her up and tell her that you'd be interested in talking more. Maybe you can exchange numbers and talk offline, you know, when one of you's at work. And I can say that, and that's such great advice, but I know I would never actually do that. No. Do not have the confidence to do something like that.
Maybe one day I will. For now, I can see what needs to be done. There's the chance of that beautiful employee of this or owner of this establishment. There's just, that's it. It's never gonna be said unless I see them in the perfect place at the perfect time. And how likely is that to happen?
Not very likely. Like, she said that the women have been coming in for a year. So if you haven't seen her outside of your restaurant in a year, the odds of that happening are so slim. So slim.
Yeah. I think because as the restaurant owner, she could just do that though, right? Like, since she is in that position of being at work and being able to make that move. I don't know though. Because then, if it doesn't work out, then you lose a customer.
There's 3 women who come into the restaurant, so you lose 3 customers. Yeah. And it sounds like, they come in every week, so it's 3 regular customers. It's a lot to put on the line monetarily for your life. But at the same time, if you don't put yourself out there, like, you could be missing out on something great.
True. And this is our one life to live.
I feel like that's probably part of the reason why the apps are so fucking popular for everybody, is because, like, putting yourself out there for rejection in the wild, that's pretty daunting. I feel like that does take a lot of confidence, and I don't know if I have that type of confidence.
It's tough, and You know, I think you gotta meet people on equal ground, ultimately. Definitely not when someone's working or that. I just don't think it's not great because there's so many variables.
And do people go out, though, when they're not at work? Maybe this is just the introvert in me talking, but I feel like I go to work and I come home and there are very few times when I'm out in the wild.
I tell myself that every day. You gotta join a club.
I was gonna say, what club are you part of?
I did try a book club earlier this year, and
like in real life one?
In real life, and it was just an hour and a half away from me, and I just could not.
You'd be driving 3 hours for a book club.
Once a month, and me and another friend were gonna go together, and we did, and then we went once, and then the second month that it got rescheduled, so like we missed out on the second month, and then it just kind of did not happen. But it was great, like meeting people, and I was like, oh, I should join a book club in town, but it's hard to find those things.
Yeah.
I know there's like meetup apps, right? But just getting the time and doing it and like making the time to do it is a struggle.
Yeah. So this one does have an update.
They're dating.
Here's the update, and it might give away whether or not it's a book or not. The other week, she asked me to be her date to her brother's wedding and act as her fake girlfriend. I'd like to come out of this trip with her as my real girlfriend. How do I accomplish that?
It's a book. It has to be a book.
Yes.
Okay, good. It's terrible. I hate that.
It's called I Really Do by Emily K. Hardy. And so that is the setup, is that this woman comes into a restaurant every week. And so the woman needing to attend her brother's wedding in England, in fact, and they are in, I think, New York. So across the ocean, she needs a date for the wedding. And so she asks this person who has been her friend-ish for a year to be her date and act as her fake girlfriend.
That's insane.
You're like, that is an insane setup.
Yeah, no, it's insane. They're the asshole.
They're the asshole. Didn't even have that as a question. I had recommended this one to Ellie because I just suspended disbelief on the insanity of this setup. And she's like, how did you get past that setup? It's ridiculous.
How did you?
I don't know how I did, but I actually really enjoyed the book. If you can put aside the insanity of that setup, it is kind of cute. It's fluffy, and it's a really good book. But getting past that setup is really, really tough.
Yeah.
And I'm a lover of fake dating and fake marriage tropes. So telling you that I, of all people, had a hard time.
It's just like going overseas with a stranger, basically.
Nothing bad has ever happened from that. Oh, last one. Okay. You ready? My overreacting for breaking up with my girlfriend for not coming out. I, 18 female, and my girlfriend, also 18 female, have been dating for a couple months now, and it's going well. I love her and can't imagine my life without her. Okay, drama. I am out, but she isn't. I'm the first girl she has dated, so she's still figuring out her sexuality. I'm trying to be supportive since I know she's got a lot going on. For context, she's the head cheerleader and used to date the star wide receiver on our high school football team. All her friends are really popular and they hang out with me, but they only do that because I'm also a cheerleader. But as the new girl, I can tell they really don't like me. Recently, a teammate was throwing a graduation party, and I showed up late. When I found my girlfriend, I had overheard her talking to her friends and saying that she didn't like me, and she didn't know why I act the way I do around her, and she really just feels sorry for me. I left, and I am not speaking with her. I plan on breaking up with her. Am I overreacting? No! She hasn't even talked to her girlfriend about that, though.
No, I mean, you should talk to her first, but you're also 18, so...
Yeah. An 18-year-old, I don't know. I feel like you're really immature at 18 because you're a baby still. And so I wonder how much of this is overreacting, because it sounds like she was trying to be understanding of her girlfriend not wanting to come out. But I don't think her girlfriend had to be super cruel about it.
Yeah, that part was... that's a high emotion time, and I think it's a build-up of a lot of things. Sounds like it's kind of understandable that it would be an overreaction. However, it could be handled very differently.
True.
But you're also 18.
It sounds like it was a graduation party, so it sounds like they're also on the brink of not being in high school anymore. That's a crazy time. I feel for the girlfriend not wanting to come out, but I keep getting snagged on how cruel it was that she would say something about that. Even like if you're in the closet, you don't have to go that far to be like, I feel sorry for her.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she has some growing up to do, for sure.
So, not overreacting and breaking up with her girlfriend. I think it warrants a conversation, but I don't know at 18, I don't know if you can control your emotions enough to get to a place where you can actually think about what has happened rationally.
And I think that I agree, like having a conversation, laying out the fact that you want to break up because you feel so bad. Like, I think that's normal in that situation, I guess. That's a tough one because they're so high emotion.
They're babies. Seriously. I think, too, the added layer here is when you're that age and you're on the brink of adulthood, you would say, like, I feel like trying to suss out who you are, and especially adding that layer of, like, coming to terms with your own sexuality, I feel like that makes it really hard on everybody around you. And so I almost wonder, like, if maybe even the girlfriend should have put it out there that, like, hey, I'm not comfortable with coming out, or hey, I'm having trouble having these conversations with my friends because I don't know how to, like, skirt around what's happening with us so that they don't find out. Like, I feel like an adult would know how to have those conversations, but at 18, that would be a hard conversation.
Yeah, and we read last month Sunburn. It was hard reading about that struggle of teenagers who are not able to express their sexuality and have like such reservations and fear. And it makes sense because teenagers living in a world that is shitty.
You could almost have just stopped the sentence at teenagers because teenagers.
It definitely needs to be a conversation for a long-term relationship. If you're planning on being with this person for a long period of time, like, and your expectation is to be out and have that be comfortable, you have to talk about it.
I think that's hard too because she says, I love her and can't imagine life without her. And I feel like at 18, it sounds like this is probably first love. And
yes.
So like at that age, with that first big feeling, maybe it is love. I feel like that's such a big emotion too to try and tackle and understand, especially at that age.
Yes. Oh my God.
I don't know about you, but like with my first girlfriend, even though I was only 18, I was like, oh yeah, planning my future. We're getting married. This is going to happen. And I don't know, like looking back on it, I shake my head and I'm like, God, you weren't getting married. Come on now. But in that moment as a teenager, it does feel like that's your life and it's set on its path.
Yeah, I know. And like it's scary because like you also, I remember like holding myself back, like I am a child still. Like chill out. And then you just part of life, I guess. That
actually shows a ton of maturity on your part that you were able to hold yourself back and realize you're a child. I was not that way. I was like, oh no, I'm on the brink of adulthood. I've got it. I'm going to college. This is the college. You'll follow me after because that's how these things work. And then we're just going to keep dating all the way through. We're going to get married. We're going to have kids. We're going to have the white picket fence. And I'm like, my stupid ass was going way far on that.
I had like very few like long-term relationships, and the one that I had was with a guy when I was 18, and that was like my first like long-term relationship, and he was like ready for marriage, and I'm like, whoa, I'm a child. I knew like in my head, I'm like, this is my first time in life like being out because I was homeschooled and like free. It didn't work out with us because it was crazy. But I felt that way about a lot of relationships where it's like, well, I'm going to be alone soon, which is crazy.
Okay, book or real?
It's a book.
Yep. That one is The Forever Factor by Melissa Brayden.
Yeah.
It actually is very similar to Be With You by T.J. O'Shea, where it's a second chance romance where these two dated in high school, clearly from what we have said broke up, and now they're meeting again in adulthood, and so it goes back and forth between when they dated in high school and then the present, kind of unweaving what happened with them and how they're going to move past it. So
that's cool. Yeah.
If you liked To Be With You, definitely I would say read The Forever Factor. Okay, so did you have fun at least? Did you get books for your TBR? We know you did.
Oh, yeah. And one day I'll read them.
I'm starting to wonder if you actually read.
Me too.
I know you read Sunburn.
I read Sunburn, and I read a book that shall not be named.
Which book was that?
BT.
Oh. No, we're not gonna name that one. That would send me off on a rant, and we're not doing that.
Me too, and I am with you. So, and then I'm reading 3 books right now. I have like a whole owned list of books ready to go, and I just need to get out of our book club to read the books.
Yeah, it's a really hard one to get off of the chat server when we all start really going nuts.
It's fun. We have a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's our secondary pitch for anybody who wants to join our insane book club.
We have a good time. We have a lot of opinions, and come join us.
Yeah. And make sure that when you come into the chat that you have a strong opinion one way or the other on Bloomtown.
That's all we'll say on that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining and taking Ellie's spot here. I definitely couldn't have done it without a secondary person. I don't have near enough charisma to carry a show on my own.
Anytime you need someone to come judge Am I the Asshole posts, you let me know.
I'll do it. Don't test me. I will.
I know. I'm ready.
All right. Well, guys, that is the end of our show. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. Follow us on our social media at the Sapphic Gaze Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, and we're on YouTube and Spotify. And also going to throw it out there, we do also have a Goodreads where we list all of the books that we have mentioned on the pod for each episode. So you can look through our shelves if there was one that you missed and you really wanted to check out. You can check it out there. Other than that, have a good day, night, week, month, year, and we'll talk to you later, guys. Bye!
Bye!